Hey everyone, I hope all of you are doing well. As you can guess, I'm just right behind this microphone and about to read to you a book, which title is Follow Your Heart by Andrew Matthews. There are 10 chapters in total, but actually I'm just gonna go with chapter 1 only for today. And because I think it relates to my current situation the most at the moment. Okay, let's start reading. Follow Your Heart, Chapter 1. We are here to learn lessons, and the world is our teacher. When we fail to learn a lesson, we get to take it again and again. Once we have learned the lesson, we move on to the next one, and we never run out of lessons. Why do we need disasters? Lessons, living and learning. Something can be staring you in the face. When I was 10, my most prized possession was my football. I ate with it, slept with it, and I polished it weekly instead of my shoes. I knew all about football, but on some other things, like where babies came from, I was a little hazy. One afternoon, I was playing in the street and I lost my precious ball. I looked everywhere. I figured someone had stolen it. Eventually, I spotted a woman who seemed to be hiding it under her jacket, so I masked up and asked her, "What do you think you're doing with my football stuck up your shirt?" It turned out that she didn't have my football, but that afternoon I learned where babies come from and what a woman looks like when she is 9 months pregnant. Later that day, I also found my ball. What fascinated me most of all was why, before the age of 10, I had never noticed a pregnant woman, and why, from then onward, I seemed to be surrounded by them. In a nutshell, we risk poise in our life when we are ready for new information. Until then, something can be staring us in the face, but we don't see it. Why do I need disasters? The only time most of us ever learn anything is when we get hit over the back of the head. Why? Because it's easy not to change. So we keep doing what we're doing until we hit a brick wall. Take our health for example. When do we change diets and start exercising? When our body is falling apart. When the doctor says, if you don't change your lifestyle, you kill yourself. Suddenly, we're motivated. In relationships, when do we usually tell each other how much we care? When a marriage is falling apart, when a family is falling apart. In school, when do we finally knuckle down and study? When we're about to fail. In business, when do we try new ideas and make the tough decisions? When we can pay our bills. When do we finally learn about customer service? After the customers have left. When do we usually pray? When our life is falling apart. Dear Lord, I know I haven't spoken to you since the last time the yogurt hit the fan. We learn our biggest lessons when things get rough. When have you made the most important decisions in your life? When you were on your knees after disasters, after knockbacks, when you've been kicked in the head. That's when we say to ourselves, I'm sick of being broke, sick of being kicked around. I'm tired of being mediocre. I'm going to do something. Success we celebrate, but we don't learn too much. Failure hurts, and that's when we get educated. In retrospect, we usually notice disasters were turning points. Effective people don't go looking for problems, but when they get smacked in the mouth, they ask themselves, how do I need to change what I'm thinking and what I'm doing? How can I be better than I am now? Losers ignore all the warning signs. When the roof falls in, they ask, why does everything happen to me? We are creatures of habit. We keep doing what we are doing until we are forced to change. Mary gets dumped by boyfriend out. Devastated, she locks herself in her bedroom for a week. Then, gradually, she starts to call old friends and meet new ones. She soon moves house and changes jobs. Within 6 months, she is happier and more confident than she has ever been in her life. She looks back on the disaster of losing out as the best thing that ever happened to her. Fred gets the sack. Unable to find work, he starts his own little business, For the first time in his life, he is his own boss and doing what he really wants to do. He still has his problems, but his life has new meaning and excitement and all out of apparent disaster. So is life a series of painful disasters? Not necessarily. The universe is always nudging us with gentle signals. When we ignore the signals, it nudges us with a sledgehammer. Throw is the most painful when we resist it. Lessons. Some things are beyond our understanding. When a child is born with AIDS, when a young mother is gunned down in a holdup, when a whole village is wiped out by flood, we are left asking, why? For these things, there seem to be no answers. But on a different level, on the everyday life level, we can find some clues. Have you ever noticed that certain things happen to certain people? Louis gets fired about every 6 months. Frank seems to get sued every year. Jim gets food poisoning on vacation. Certain things don't seem to happen to certain people. Jim never gets fired. Louis never goes to court, and Frank doesn't send postcards from hospital. Particular people get particular lessons. We can react to all of this in one of 3 ways. We either say, my life is a series of lessons I need, happening in the perfect order. The healthiest approach guarantees maximum peace of mind. Life is a lottery, but I make the most of whatever comes along. The next best option offers average quality of life. Why do bad things always happen to me? Guarantees maximum misery and frustration. We are continually being presented with lessons. Unless we learn the lessons, we get to take them again and again and again. Call it the divine plan. Call it the natural unfolding of events. It is happening. Like it or hate it, it is happening. Take responsibility or claim you're a victim. Fight it or ignore it. It's happening. It has been happening all your life. Every time your neighborhood abused you, each time a salesman ripped you off or a lover walked out on you, there was a lesson staring you in the face. If you are miserable 7 days a week, it's likely we missed the lesson. When we keep losing jobs, lovers, money, it's a sign that we haven't been paying attention. As one lady remarked, I keep getting the same old problems in a different pair of trousers. The worst thing we can ever say is, it's not fair. In a nutshell, we are not here to be punished. We are here to be educated. Every event has the potential to change our thinking. Act as if every event has a purpose, and your life will have purpose. Figure out why you need it on experience concrete, and you won't need it again. I could do anything but that. We usually want to postpone our most important lessons. We might look at our rocky relationship with our mother and say, after all the nasty things she has said, I could do anything but love her. Right. You probably could do almost anything but that right now. That is why it is your lesson. Growth is about breaking new ground. My ex-husband is a pain in the butt. Divorcing someone doesn't mean our class with them is over if the marriage is finished, but we're still blaming them for our misery and our mortgage. We are still hooked to them. We remain linked because there is more to learn. You say, but the guy is a turkey. I could do anything but forgive him. Forgiving him probably would be the hardest thing, and it's probably something you are not good at. So you are getting a chance to practice it. You can postpone the class, but if you want your life and your health to improve, you have to take it sometime. Why we believe that someone is ruining our life, that belief will make it true for us. It might seem like they are in the way of our happiness. Actually, it's us in the way, because we choose how we see people. My boss is a creep. It's not my fault. He needs to stop being a creep. So, what's my lesson? While you remain convinced that your boss is a certified creep, he'll be a creep. And it's okay to think he's a creep. At the point you choose to change, e.g., focus on his good points, stop judging him, even empathize a little, the problem will evaporate. How? You say. There are 1,000 possibilities. He may respond to your change of attitude and begin to open up. He may be transferred to another department. You may get another job. He may get another job. You may get to like the guy. Really? How often we do befriend with people who initially we couldn't tolerate? When you change, your situation changes. It is lower. You don't have to figure out how it will happen. Your transformation alters your circumstance. But your change must be genuine. You say, I put up with Fred, but I still know he's a jerk. But that is an amazing transformation on your part. How long will it take? As long as it takes you to change. Why don't I just leave the job now? You can do that, but chances are you find yourself working for another group. It's all part of the great cosmic curriculum. Maybe if I go to a new city, I can make a new start. Wrong. Usually the best place to make a new start is where you are. Take Fred, who owes money to half the neighborhood. Fred says to himself, maybe I need to move. But when he moves, he takes his thoughts and habit patterns with him, and that they are what shape his life. Fred changes cities and attracts the same situations, and another bunch of angry creditors. If you are a spendthrift and you migrate to Argentina, you'll still be a spendthrift. The best advice to Fred: before changing your address, consider changing your thinking. Lessons chases around the world. In Jill's family, money was a dirty word. Her parents wasn't especially short of it, but she was embarrassed to ask for it. They didn't want to share it, and the whole family argued about it. She left home and went to live in Barcelona and marry a fellow who makes plenty of money, but won't give her any. When you step up to the plane, your lessons are there to greet you. If only I could go to Tibet, maybe I could find the meaning of life. Some of us get grand ideas about traveling to distant lands to find the meaning of life. Jim treks up to the Himalayas one day while sitting on a dusty street corner, racked with diarrhea and dreaming of a warm bath. He has a blinding flash. Maybe I can do enlightenment at the Ritz-Carlton. It sounds romantic, finding the meaning of life in Tibet. But the enlightenment in Tibet is for Tibetans. The meaning of life for most of us is probably in the suburbs. Lessons we fear. The only way to beat fear is to face it. Because we are always attracting the learning experience we need, we often attract the experiences that we fear. Therefore, if you are scared witless of being in debt, chances are you'll get to find out all about it. If you feel loneliness, you'll attract that. If you feel embarrassment, you'll follow your face. It's life's way of encouraging us to grow. In a nutshell, we are each a cause. Our thoughts attract and create circumstances. As we change, we attract different circumstances. Until we learn a lesson about debt or work or lovers, we either stay stuck on the same lessons or keep getting the same lessons in different packages. Life goes like this. We get hit by little pebbles as a kind of warning. When we ignore the pebbles, we get hit by a brick. Ignore the brick, and we get wiped out by a boulder. If we're honest, we can see where we have ignored the warning signs, and then we have the nerve to say, why me? Living and learning. It's only by going down into the abyss that we recover the treasures of life. Where you stumble, there lies your treasure. The very cave you are afraid to enter turns out to be the source of what you were looking for. Joseph Campbell. Life doesn't always have to be painful, but pain is still the main reason we change. Until we are in pain, we can pretend. Our ego says, I'm fine. When things hurt enough, for example, when we are lonely enough or scared enough, we become vulnerable. Our ego has no more answers and we open up. Pain encourages us to get serious. It's always easier to be philosophical about other people's pain. We look at Jim and say, going broke was a huge learning experience for him. We look at Mary and say, that divorce helped her to stand on her own feet. We all agree challenges make you stronger. But when our own challenges come along, we are not so enthusiastic. We say, Lord, why this? Give me a convenient challenge. Unfortunately, real challenges aren't convenient. If only I could have some quality people in my life, we might look at our life and say, if I didn't have to deal with my lazy husband and these rowdy kids, I could get about my personal growth. Wrong. They are our personal growth. The people in our life are our teachers, husbands who snore and leave cupboard doors open, ungrateful children, neighbors who park across the driveway. Only for so long can we tell ourselves, I'll be happier if these guys got their act together. If your wife makes you angry, then your project is to deal with anger effectively. And you have the perfect person to have to do it right in your home. A practice partner. What fortune? You might say, I'll divorce her. That will fix it. But it will fix it only until you marry someone else who will make you just as angry. In a nutshell, every person who walks into your life is a teacher. Even if they drive you nuts, they teach you because they show you where your limits are. Just because people are your teachers doesn't mean you have to glide them. Step by step, life is a bit like a ladder. To move up, we have to fix the step we're on, whether it's work, relationships, money, whatever. Once the step is fixed, we move to the next step. People handle their steps in different ways. I hate this step. I want to be on a different one. That's when we stay stuck. I want someone else's ladder. That's called jealousy. To hell with this ladder, I'm jumping off. That is called suicide. Whenever we are stuck, we might ask ourselves, what haven't I fixed? When does life get simpler? It doesn't. But you can learn to handle it better. When you sign up for Planet Earth, you get the whole life class, which means as long as you are breathing, school is in session. We keep thinking that once we get past preschool, grade school, puberty, once we go to work, life will get easier. It doesn't. No one ever warned us. No wonder we get frustrated. We look at other people who, from a distance, seem to be on an easy street, but they're dealing with their own problems. Bill appears to be cruising. He retires on a healthy pension. The house is paid off. He drives a nice car, eats in fine restaurants. He takes overseas vacations, plays some golf. What we don't know is that he's suing his insurance company. The roof is leaking. His son is on cocaine and some burglar will have his video recorded by this time tomorrow. All of us are constantly challenged. Another reason life doesn't get simpler. When things get too easy, we look for more problems. We say to ourselves, I can do this with my eyes shut. I need a challenge. When life gets too simple, we start a family. When the house is paid off, we buy a bigger one. It's not just the world that complicates our lives. We do. So how do I keep from going crazy? It's how you deal with it. Never tell yourself, I can relax and enjoy myself until... Relax and enjoy while you're in the middle of things. Continually ask yourself, what am I learning from this? We never get our lives tidy into neat little boxes. People see happiness as some kind of distant mirage. like they are crawling through the desert, and there's a sign ahead which says happiness. And they say, if I can just make it there, then I'll be happy. They have it logically figured out. We can be happy now because we're having the bathroom remodeled, but next month the kids have the flu, the car's on hit, and in-laws are coming to stay, and they say around next April. Teaching others a lesson. Have you ever been very excited about a book you just read? You take it to a friend and say, read this, it's fantastic. Then you hold your breath waiting for their enthusiastic phone call, but they never call. 6 months later, you ask for your book to find they never read it and they've lost it. The lesson here, which applies to friendly advice as well as books, is that just because you're ready for information doesn't mean everyone else is ready. In a nutshell, if people aren't asking you, they usually don't want the information. So, what am I to learn from this? Reflect on your life to this point, and you'll perhaps see a reason why you took the path you did. You will see people dotted through your past teachers, lovers, and even strangers on airplanes who gave you direction. You'll remember a book you found in a junk shop which shaped your thinking. You will recall accidents, heartaches, illnesses, failures, and financial crises that made you stronger or taught you compassion. You'll see disasters which, in retrospect, were more likely part of a larger scheme. You might get that feeling that you have been learning a series of lessons in just the right order. You might sense that one thing was always leading to another. In the beginning, it's difficult to see disasters in perspective. There's a lag time while we're telling ourselves, this is not part of the proof script. Sorry, God, you made a big mistake. It takes us 6 months to figure out getting fired was actually part of the plan. The universe is a patient and persistent teacher. Watch the signals and life runs relatively smoothly. But fall asleep at the wheel and whammo. You will drag a major learning experience, a bankruptcy, a divorce, a heart attack. Fred might argue, there's no life path. Everyone has to be somewhere at some time. As he expands his awareness, he might notice his own unfolding curriculum. So where are my next lessons? They are usually right under our noses, and often we know exactly what they are, and we're hoping they go away. That's it for today. I'm just wondering if there is anyone still stay with me until the end. If there is, thank you so much for listening. See you next time. Peace.